Hey guys, this is Doris with Doris's Wrestling Fanatics Corner. I do apologize for the delay in this video. As most of you know, I had knee surgery last week. So to come into the office you have to go down a step, and it's a really high step. So I really wasn't comfortable doing it until I had done it with the physical therapist, which the physical therapist wasn't comfortable doing it last week until I got a little bit of more stability underneath me. So we did it today. So here I am. I did do the video. I did do the pictures and things last week on my laptop. I was trying to do a video on my laptop, but unfortunately I couldn't combine the video package with the audio. I could only do one or the other. So that was why there was such a delay in it. Because what I had done was I had done a couple of clips from the video that I had and did freeze frame pictures because I couldn't do the whole video on that. But then it wouldn't let me combine them. So that's what took so long. But anyway, I'm here now. And so I've been a little bit disappointed in the Raw and SmackDown episodes. Mostly the Raw ones. It seems like they've basically been the same matches for the past 3 weeks. They really aren't changing much. We did have a couple of new segments this week that we haven't seen in the past. But, like, we saw the 8-man tag match again. We started Raw out again with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and their crews. We had more from Bobby Lashley and Ricochet. They had a match tonight. Aleister Black had another squash match. We saw Garza have a match against Alexander Cedric. But let me I'll go over what we did. So on Raw, like I said, they started out with Seth Rollins talking about how he's the Monday Night Messiah, and we deemed him Monday Night Messiah. He didn't deem himself that. He talked a lot about the matches from last week and the 6-man tag match that his team won. He showed a video package that of course left out Eric taking himself out, Ivar taking himself out, and Seth stomping Eric to take him out. All they showed was them beating Kevin Owens. And then he talked about how it's because of Kevin Owens and Eric that he is not going to the Crown Jewel to face Brock Lesnar, that it's Ricochet because they cost him the match. He doesn't say how the only reason they got involved in the match was because AOP and Murphy got involved in the match. He leaves that part out, of course. And he ends up saying he has his message he needs to get out. And Kevin Owens and the Raiders come out and they stop him from talking. Then we see them head down to the ring to fight. Murphy and AOP come out to meet them on the ramp, and they're fighting outside of the ring. And then we see Samoa Joe in the ring putting Seth Rollins into a Kamuta clutch, and AOP and Murphy save him. Unfortunately, AOP and Seth Rollins left Murphy in the ring, so Murphy got the brunt of the attack from Kevin Owens and his crew. And that ends up being an 8-man tag for our main event. Like I said, we saw Alexander Black in a squash match. We saw Angel Garza versus Alexander Cedric, or Cedric Alexander, sorry. We saw What else did we see? We saw Flair watch a match between Rhea Ripley and Sarah Logan. And the way that match came about was Rhea Ripley was being interviewed about Flair not accepting her challenge yet. And Sarah Logan comes over, interrupts the interview, and says, "Who do you think you are coming here and thinking that you have the right to invade Raw and make demands?" And Rhea Ripley says, "Why, I'm Rhea Ripley. And who are you?" So she leaves that backstage area, and Sarah Logan goes out to the ring and says, if Rhea Ripley wants to know who I am, and calls Rhea Ripley out and says, "I'm Sarah Logan and I will beat you up." So Ripley comes out and pretty much destroys Logan. Before the match starts, Flair comes out. She does stay on the stage and she watches the match. And then Rhea pretty much destroys Logan the whole time looking at Flair. And at the end of the match, she calls out Flair and says, "I haven't gotten my answer yet, Flair. What's my answer?" And Flair says, "Well, Sarah, you still have to defend your title at TakeOver this weekend, so we don't even know if you're going to be champion come WrestleMania." And she walks away. And then we saw a MVP VIP lounge segment where he had McIntyre. He had McIntyre as a guest, and he's talking to McIntyre about how people are saying McIntyre is not ready for a title match, but McIntyre needs someone to deal with that, so McIntyre doesn't have to. He needs someone to deal with all the publicity and the interviews, and McIntyre, and then MVP says, somebody like me. And McIntyre says, "So basically you want to be my business manager?" And MVP says, "Yeah, exactly." And Drew says, "Or my advocate, like Paul Heyman." And MVP says, "Well, just a better looking version." And Drew says, "There's a big difference between me and Brock Lesnar. I don't need an exterior brain thinking for me. I don't need an exterior brain talking for me. I can do my own talking, so I don't need you." And he goes to walk away, and MVP grabs him, tells him not to walk away from him while he's talking to him. And this enrages Drew, so Drew delivers a Glasgow kiss and then delivers a Claymore for MVP's trouble. And that was the end of that segment, so I'm sure we could expect to see a match between those two. We saw Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet. Lashley claims that he asked for the match to get revenge on Ricochet for stealing his title opportunity, and Ricochet ends up winning the match by delivering a 630 off the top rope to Lashley. I'm trying to wonder where they're going with this whole Lashley storyline. I don't know if they're doing it to kind of make a safety net just in case Rusev doesn't renew his contract. So this way, this gives Lana a reason to leave Lashley because he's a loser. Because he has lost his last couple of matches the last couple of weeks. That's the only reason where I think they would make him lose all these matches. Because personally, I think him and Brock Lesnar would be a really good match. I'm not a huge fan of either one of them. I just think it would be a good match to watch. And then we saw another match between Becky Lynch and Asuka for the title once again. And once again, Becky Lynch wins this match. And at the end of this match, it was really weird. So they had Shayna Baszler come out. Shayna Baszler attacks Becky from behind. And after knocking Becky out, Shayna very patiently moves her hair and takes a bite, yes, a bite, out of Becky Lynch's neck. They don't really show the wound. I'm imagining there isn't a wound in real life, but they made it out to be like it was gushing blood. Shayna pulls up, her whole mouth is covered with blood. The ref is in a panic, acting like he's trying to stop the bleeding. EMTs come running down and they act like they're trying to stop the bleeding. The three of them help Becky into the back and they tell her she needs to go to the hospital by ambulance to get it looked at. Okay. Mind you, no blood. You saw blood on Baszler. You see blood on Becky's hands from when she was doing this. And that was it. There was no other blood. There was a very small, minute puddle of blood on the ring floor. But that was it. So, whoever's job it was to create the illusion of a lot of bleeding didn't do a good job. But anyway, so she ends up telling them they're not taking her to the hospital. She will drive herself. And she steals the ambulance and drives herself to the hospital. Towards the end of the show, we see her come back from the hospital. And she's got like a 4x4 size gauze on the side of her neck. Before the main event, she goes down into the ring and she calls Baszler out. Well, of course, Baszler's not there anymore. And she tells Baszler that they've gave her some good numbing stuff and they gave her some good medicine to help the pain. And that if Baszler wants to sink her teeth into her to get her attention, well, it worked. So I don't know when this match is going to happen. More than likely, it's going to happen at Mania. I'm just really not sure how they're going to make this storyline go. Are they really going to try and make it out like Shayna's a vampire? I hope not. The words did come out of Jerry Lawler's mouth that Shayna was a vampire. I'm hoping they don't go there with this. But anyway, we also saw the 8-man tag, which once again Seth Rollins' team ended up winning. Buddy Murphy got the pin on Samoa Joe after Seth delivered a stomp. And that was pretty much. So the most exciting part of Raw was that they had Randy Orton down in the ring to once again try to explain his actions towards Edge. He starts to explain, and then Matt Hardy's music hits. Matt Hardy comes down to the ring and confronts Randy Orton and tells Randy Orton, out of all the people at WWE, he hated Randy the most, but after he hated Edge the most, but after Edge retired, they made their peace and that they were friends again, and he doesn't know how Randy did this. He wants to know, like everyone else, why. and then Edge turns around and does the same exact thing to Matt. He RKO's him and he gives him the concerto and leaves the ring. And that was your Raw. I know that I saw a report that originally they were going to have that be Matt Hardy's last segment on Raw on WWE. I did see a report, and Matt Hardy did tweet out that he would be at Raw again this week. And the report that I saw had said because that segment got such a good feedback that they decided to continue it on a little bit. When originally the plan was to not use Hardy for the rest of his contract. So we will have to see. All right. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Other than that, peeps, I will see you very shortly with my SmackDown and my NXT videos. Thanks, guys. Peace out.